what was the beginning of this project?
Yeah, the beginning was I really wanted to do a character that was sort of the door-to-door saleswoman type of character that turned into a home invasion. And I kept having this idea of this woman, Evelyn, wanting to sell magazines. And I just kept thinking about her. I don't know, she just like occurred to me one day and I kept thinking about her and then I finally just sat down and wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, writer, producer, actor, director, editor. What is your background? Is there one of those that is your background, you've learned the other, or is that
Yeah.
from the beginning?
I think writing was definitely always the thing I did, like even as a kid, I was just kind of always writing, and then acting kind of quickly followed that. The producing and editing, I feel like, is just out of not having a budget. Yeah, I wish I didn't have to do those things. But yeah, this was like, in general, this was just a really small crew. It was just three of us that made it. So we had our DP, who was awesome, and then Chris, the guy that was in it, was also gaffing, and he was also the colorist, and then I was doing the other things. So we all kind of were wearing a lot of hats and just had fun making it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you learn the producing and editing for this short specifically?
No, I had produced and edited I think like 4 or 5 other shorts before this one of my own, but they were all just really small crews, no budget. Yeah.
Okay, and then so what is your approach to blending comedy and horror? Are those two genres that you're interested in separately, or you like to see them together always?
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite genre. Is like a horror comedy. I started out doing just comedy, and then I just I like the way that comedy and horror mirror their beats and the tension and release of like either a scare or a laugh. I just love to like play with those things, and so I think as I started making more comedy, I just started sort of like gravitating towards making them darker and darker until I was finally like, let's just do a horror comedy.
Okay. And then what does balancing acting and directing look like?
Yeah, I think the main thing, which has been really helpful for all the shorts that I've directed and acted in, is doing rehearsals ahead of time, because most of the people that I do my shorts with are just my friends, so I'm able to call them or get them to come over and run a bunch of rehearsals and figure out what I want the scene to look like before the cameras are up, which I know is not a luxury that you can like often get with bigger budget things because of time and cost, but I think it would be hard to do it without those rehearsals, because otherwise I think it's hard. Your brain is sort of separated from the performance a little, and that still happened, but it was really nice to be able to work out the kinks ahead of time so that when the cameras were ready, we kind of had the discussions and knew where we wanted to go with it.
Yeah. Were there any specific challenges you had to overcome?
Well,
this production?
Yeah, so this was shot at my townhouse that I was renting, and we found blood for a really long time afterwards, but I have a dog, and so keeping her out of the shot when there were only 3 of us working on it was a little tricky because she's a very affectionate dog, so she just constantly I thought she'd be freaked out by the blood. She did not care, but she did always want to be in the shot, so that was not, I wasn't fully prepared for how much effort that was going to take. And then the first day we shot it in 2 days basically, but the first day we kind of lost half the day because the camera stopped working, so then having to rearrange the schedule and try to get all of the rest of the shots in the second day was a bit of an adjustment.
So yeah. And then when you cut things together yourself, do you show it to anybody else for feedback?
Yeah. I showed it to a lot of friends. I think like having the friends that I trust and like give, just through doing multiple of these, there are friends that I found give really good feedback, and sending that to them was super beneficial. There were a couple scenes we shot that I ended up fully taking out because it just wasn't working, and a lot of scenes were rearranged. But yes, definitely showed it to a lot of people.
Great. I'll open it up to the audience here, see if there's anybody who has any specific questions for our director. Yep, in the back there.
Yeah, you said you started out writing and then sort of adjusted for producer, the editor, what, the direction?
Yeah, that it came mostly from, so I did a lot of stage. I got into comedy doing sketch comedy like on stage, and a lot of that you kind of, the way that at least the company I did it through, you kind of ended up directing your own sketches that you wrote, and so that taught me a lot. Even though the directing is a lot different for camera, I think that was what kind of gave me the confidence to try to go into directing on camera. But it was super helpful getting that stage experience directing.
Any other questions? Yeah, in the back. Go ahead, Jeff.
I just wanted to throw in an extra compliment that I have always been amazed by dark comedy, and I have never been able to write anything of my own where someone is murdered and it's funny. And I think you just did it so perfectly.
Oh,
And I just think it's brilliant writing and brilliant acting. I just wanted to give you that compliment.
thank you so much.
Because I think it's so hard to do. I'm full of empathy, and
Yeah.
I love your film. And
Thanks. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Great. Well, round of applause for our director, who